Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Britain announces largest asylum policy overhaul in modern times, reduces protection for refugees and end automatic benefits for asylum seekers. Russian President Vladimir Putin speaks to Netanyahu on phone, discusses Middle East, including developments in Gaza, Iran's nuclear program and Syria's stabilization. UN Security Council to vote on Monday on a resolution endorsing US President Trump's Gaza peace plan. Arab states, US, Egypt and Turkey urge UNSC to adopt Gaza resolution. Ukrainian President Zelensky renews call for more air defense systems after deadly strike on Kyiv killed 7. In sports, World Boxing Cup final kicks off in India's Greater Noida. 130 boxers from 18 countries to participate. Indian boxers, including two-time world champion Nikhat Zareen, to fight for glory. Britain said on Saturday that it would launch the largest overhaul of policy on asylum seekers in modern times. Britain's government announced late on Saturday that it will drastically reduce protection for refugees and end automatic benefits for asylum seekers under new plans aimed at slashing irregular immigration. As part of the changes, the statutory duty to provide support to certain asylum seekers, including housing and weekly allowances, will be revoked. UK's Interior Ministry in a statement said that the measures would apply to asylum seekers who can work but choose not to, and to those who break the law. It said that taxpayer-funded support would be prioritised for those contributing to the economy and local communities. UK Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood is expected to provide further details on Monday about the measures. Britain currently grants asylum to those who can prove they are unsafe at home, with refugee status given to those deemed to be at risk of persecution. The status lasts for 5 years, after which they can apply for permanent settlement if they meet certain criteria. The UN Security Council will vote on Monday on a resolution endorsing US President Donald Trump's Gaza peace plan. Last week, the Americans officially launched negotiations within the 15-member Security Council on a text that would follow up on a ceasefire in the two-year conflict between Israel and Hamas and endorse Trump's plan. The draft of the resolution welcomes the establishment of the Board of Peace, a transitional governing body for Gaza that Trump would theoretically chair, with a mandate running until the end of 2027. It would authorize member states to form a temporary international stabilization force that would work with Israel and Egypt and newly trained Palestinian police to help secure border areas and demilitarize the Gaza Strip. The United States and several Arab and Muslim majority nations, including Egypt, Saudi Arabia and Turkey, called the UN Security Council to quickly adopt the resolution. Ahead of the UNSC vote, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu discussed the situation in West Asia, including developments in Gaza, Iran's nuclear program and Syria, in a phone call. Russia circulated a competing draft resolution to Council members that does not authorize the creation of a board of peace or the immediate deployment of an international force in Gaza. The Russian version welcomes the initiative that led to the ceasefire. It also only calls on the UN Secretary General to submit a report that addresses the possibilities of deploying an international stabilization force in war-ravaged Gaza. The Russian UN mission said in a statement that its alternative proposal differed by recognizing the principle of a two-state solution for the Israeli-Palestinian settlement. Meanwhile, Israeli protesters gathered in Tel Aviv on Saturday to demand the Israeli government appoints a committee to initiate a state inquiry on the events of October 7th. Demonstrators also demanded the return of remains of slain hostages from Gaza. Under an October ceasefire deal, Hamas agreed to the release of the last living hostages seized during the Hamas-led October 7, 2023 attacks on Israel. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Saturday renewed his plea for more air defense systems a day after Russian strikes on Kyiv killed 7 people. His latest comments came after Russian missiles struck apartment blocks across the Ukrainian capital on Friday. Russia-Ukraine conflict has dragged on for nearly 4 years, with diplomatic efforts to end it failing, and fears are growing for the country's energy security ahead of a fourth winter of conflict. Ukraine said that Russian attacks had killed 4 people in its southern region on Saturday, while it had attacked a Russian oil refinery near Moscow. Ukraine has regularly staged missile and drone attacks inside Russia. Ryazan Governor Pavel Malkov said that Russian air defense had shot down 25 Ukrainian drones over the region during the night. Mexico witnessed widespread protests on Saturday against the government of Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum at Zocalo Square. Youth-led protests were rallied under the umbrella title of Gen Z, referring to those aged under 28. Youth protesters threw rocks at the police in front of the government palace during a Gen Z march against President Claudia Sheinbaum. Thousands of people marched through the streets of Mexico to protest against drug violence and security policies of President Sheinbaum's government. She faces criticism due to several high-profile murders, mainly in the state of Michoacán. Chileans will head to the ballot box on Sunday to elect a new president in a vote that is pitting the government leftist coalition against an array of right-wing candidates. Now, this will be Chile's first presidential election since 2012, where voting will be mandatory and those who do not vote shall face a fine. The security plan for elections includes the deployment of thousands of police officers and vehicles, along with 10 helicopters, to protect over 3,000 polling stations across the country. None of the 8 candidates in the running are expected to reach the majority needed to win outright, likely triggering a runoff election on December 14th. Let's get to other updates now. Southern California is on high alert as back-to-back storms hit Los Angeles, bringing heavy rain and raising serious fears of flooding and mudslides in wildfire-scarred areas. Forecasters warn that rain sweeping down from San Francisco region could trigger floods, especially in places damaged by January's wildfires. Nearly 180,000 people have been evacuated as authorities prepare for possible flooding and mudslides. The storms may ease by Sunday, but more rain is expected later in the week. Storm Claudia is causing dangerous weather across Europe, from severe flooding in southern Wales to deadly storms and a tornado in Portugal. Several areas remain on high alert as authorities warn of serious risks to life and property. In southern Wales, Storm Claudia's heavy rains caused severe flooding early on Saturday. Water burst into shops and submerged cars on Lower High Street after the river Mono overflowed. Authorities issued several flood warnings for Monmouth, calling the situation a significant risk to the life and community. In Portugal, the storm turned deadly as 1 person was killed and around 2 dozen were injured on Saturday. A tornado hit a camping site in Albufeira, destroying caravans, while more people were hurt at a nearby hotel. With the death toll rising to 3, the Algarve and nearby districts remain on amber alert. Myanmar was hit by a mild earthquake early on Sunday, with tremors recorded by India's National Centre for Seismology. According to the NCS, a 3.5 magnitude earthquake struck Myanmar at a shallow depth of 10 kilometers, increasing the chances of aftershocks. A quick look at other stories making it to the headlines from across the world. Hong Kong has launched the Lion Rock chip, now in mass production. It is the world's first data center management chip built on the open source RISC-V system. Now, the chip boosts speed, cutting data center boot up to 1 minute. Its first client is Huawei-linked company, and the team plans to involve more local tech talent as production expands. Hong Kong has launched a national security-themed school drama to raise awareness among children. The show premiered at Hong Kong City Hall. The drama uses updated scenes from a popular comedy film and includes interactive elements to help primary students understand national security in daily life. Thousands of French wine growers marched in Béziers to protest falling wine prices, foreign competition, strict regulation and climate change hit harvest. This year's output remains historically low at 16% below the 5-year average. Farmers say they are financially struggling and are demanding urgent government support and fairer policies. A massive illegal waste dump has been found in the field of London's Oxfordshire. The pile, about 150 meters long and 6 meters high, was left by fly tippers near a riverbank. Locals say it's bigger than some legal landfills, and officials are seeking government help to clean it up. You're watching DD India Live. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, 8th edition of the bilateral air exercise Garud 25 between India and France begins. India eyes routing South Africa as the sides meet on day 3 of the first test match at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata.
When we stop seeing ourselves as separate from the world around us, caring for our planet becomes caring for our own existence. So today, let's meet people who are showing us even small steps can bring about lasting change.
I left the teaching job, started protecting palm trees. I began creating awareness among children in schools and colleges why palm trees are important and why we should care about saving them.
This habitat develops on its own inside the vortex pool. There's water moss on the walls and here on the bottom. The moss growth on the walls and bottom is proof that the water quality really is improving.
Past, we didn't know what conservation was or how to preserve or protect the wildlife. Now, through this restoration site, we are trying our best to carry forward a legacy of protecting the environment.
Welcome to DD India, where a billion voices unite, connecting viewers to the stories that matter. India is not just another news channel. It's the international channel that puts the spotlight on the global south, bringing you stories from the heart of emerging economies, dynamic cultures, and transformative voices. As the international news channel of India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati, DD India delivers high-quality content from every corner of the globe, focusing on the stories that shape our future. We don't just report news. We connect you to India's voice in the global narrative. From current affairs to culture, from economic growth to sustainable development, and the ever-evolving world order, DD India gives you a comprehensive view of the world around us. Stay connected, stay informed, and embrace the stories that shape our lives. DD India, India's voice.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. The Indian Air Force will participate in the 8th edition of the bilateral air exercise Garud 25 in France from Sunday. The IAF will conduct this exercise with the French Air and Space Force, that is FASF, till 27th of November. The Ministry of Defence said that this exercise aims to refine tactics and procedures in a realistic operational environment. The ministry added that it also provides an opportunity for professional interaction, exchange of operational knowledge, and sharing of best practices between the two air forces. During the exercise, the IAF's Su-30 MKI aircraft will operate alongside the French multi-role fighters in complex simulated air combat scenarios, focusing on air-to-air combat, air defense, and joint strike operations. A team from 60 Parachute Field Hospital paid solemn homage at the War Memorial in South Korea, laying a wreath on behalf of the DGA-FMS and the Indian Armed Forces. The contingent honored the gallant Indian troops who rendered distinguished service during the Korean War, reaffirming the steadfast military ties, shared legacy of sacrifice and continued camaraderie between India and the Republic of Korea. Union Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting, Dr. L. Murugan, on Saturday reviewed the preparedness for the 56th International Film Festival of India, that is IFFI 2025, to be held in Goa from 20th to 28th of November. The theme of the 56th edition is Convergence of Creativity and Technology, with Japan as the country of focus. The minister held a press conference in Panji, where Dr. L. Murugan highlighted that this year's event will emphasize on greater local involvement, featuring a grand parade with 34 groups and 12 tableaux. Over 7,500 delegates from more than 80 countries are expected to attend, with around 270 films set to be screened at the Goa International Film Festival.
This year, we are planning some differently and to involve the local people. For that, this time one parade is organized, almost 34 parades from various states and various departments, from Goa government itself. 12 tableaus are there planned. So more than 7,500 delegates are registered from various countries. Almost 127 countries they are registered, but 84 countries the people are going to participate here. In these 84 countries, 270 films are going to screen here in our Goa International Film Festival.
At the 44th India International Trade Fair being held at Bharat Mandapam in Delhi, the Madhya Pradesh Pavilion has become the center of attraction. The pavilion has been designed according to the fair's theme, that is Ek Bharat Shreshth Bharat, that is One India, Great India. Here, the visitors can not only see the Gwalior Fort, but also get a glimpse of the Chausat Yogini Temple of Morena. The pavilion has been decorated in line with the fair's theme, that is Ek Bharat Shreshth Bharat. The pavilion showcases the industrial progress of Madhya Pradesh, along with exhibits of various products, which are also being sold at the stalls. The Sabrimala temple will open on Sunday evening for the annual Mandala Makaravilakku pilgrimage season, with extensive preparations completed for the safety of the devotees. The hill shrine, dedicated to Lord Ayappa, will open at 5 p.m. IST on Sunday in the presence of Chief Minister Kantaru Mahesh Mohanaru. Though the temple opens on Sunday, formal rituals and the commencement of the pilgrimage with the opening of the new doors by the new priests will begin at 3 a.m. on Monday, marking the Vrishchikam month. The authority has capped the daily number of devotees at 90,000 to avoid overcrowding. Of the total 90,000 daily darshan slots, 70,000 will be through online booking and 20,000 through spot booking. A quick look at other stories making it to the headlines from across India now. Madhya Pradesh government released 32 prisoners, 2 inmates from Indore Central Jail, including 9 from tribal communities, for good conduct on November 15th to mark Tribal Pride Day, celebrated on the birth anniversary of tribal freedom fighter Bhagwan Birsa Munda. A grand unity march was held in Uttar Pradesh, Mainpuri, to mark the 150th birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Uttar Pradesh Tourism Minister led the march, joined by thousands of students, NCC, NSS, cadets and local citizens. The event remained peaceful, with participants taking pledges for national unity, a drug-free society and self-reliant India. Let's get you sports updates now. Indian boxers were handed a mixed draw at the World Boxing Cup Finals 2025 on Saturday, with Nikhat Zareen starting her campaign directly from the semi-finals in Greater Noida. The World Boxing Cup finals, scheduled from December 16th to 20th at the Shahid Vijay Singh Pathak Sports Complex, will bring together more than 120 elite boxers from 15 nations. Every boxing weight category, 10 each for men and women, features a maximum of 8 contenders, each selected through the official World Boxing Rankings, ensuring high impact and quality competition. After a landmark World Championships in 2023, this marks India's first major international boxing tournament on home soil. The winner of the bout will earn a meeting against Olympic medalist and top seed Huang Xiaowen of Chinese Taipei in the semi-finals. Every win here also carries crucial ranking points, making each bout vital for the Indians' international standing. Talking about cricket, India will look to bowl out South Africa early when day 3 of the first test match at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata resumes. The hosts ended day 2 firmly on top after restricting South Africa at 93 for 7 in their second innings at stumps, with a lead of only 63 over the hosts. Ravindra Jadeja was the destructor-in-chief, taking 4 wickets, including 2 in 1 over. Earlier in the day, South Africa staged a remarkable comeback to restrict India at 189 runs with only a 30-run lead in their first innings. Indian captain Shubman Gill was forced to retire hurt after facing just 3 balls due to a neck injury and did not come out to bat again. Cricket Australia on Saturday said that Australian pacer Josh Hazlewood has been ruled out of the first Ashes test against England. On Wednesday, he left New South Wales Sheffield Shield match against Victoria at the Sydney Cricket Ground to have a hamstring niggle examined. Hazlewood's absence is a big blow for the Aussies, who are already without captain Pat Cummins for the first test. This is scheduled to begin on November 21st in Perth. Michael Nessa has been brought into the first test squad as cover for both Hazlewood and Jean Abbott, who also suffered a hamstring injury. The 36th Senior National Fencing Championship kicked off at the IG Indoor Stadium in New Delhi on Saturday. India's Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, Kiran Rijiju, attended the opening ceremony as the chief guest. He met with several of the nation's leading fencers, including Bibish K, Tanishka Khatri and Abhinash Kangabam, highlighting the Government of India's commitment to nurturing talent and promoting Olympic sports. The championship will see over 600 top fencers compete for 12 gold medals in both individual and team categories across the 3 fencing disciplines. That's it in this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. Now, this app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can download the respective QR codes. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.
When we stop seeing ourselves as separate from the world around us, caring for our planet becomes caring for our own existence. So today, let's meet people who are showing us even small steps can bring about lasting change.
I left the teaching job, started protecting palm trees. I began creating awareness among children in schools and colleges why palm trees are important and why we should care about saving them.
This habitat develops on its own inside the vortex pool. There's water moss on the walls and here on the bottom. The moss growth on the walls and bottom is proof that the water quality really is improving.
Past, we didn't know what conservation was or how to preserve or protect the wildlife. Now, through this restoration site, we are trying our best to carry forward a legacy of protecting the environment.
Welcome to Manipur, A state that's waiting to enchant you with the jewels of nature. Where the love of art and beauty is inherent in people. Full of trailblazing milestones. And heroes that scripted history. Its mystical charm will leave an impression for a lifetime. Come, savor the jewel land of Manipur.